Okay, again another quick overview video for you just for tomorrow. Again, one of the ones that's not come up so far is Theme 5 Patient Care. A really easy one to write, this one, because there's not a massive amount of examples that you actually need to put in there. But obviously we go medieval, which is 500 to 1500. Patient care, which is in brackets hospitals, was largely the concern of the church, or they were the only people that were bothered about patient care. So you've mainly got almshouses, which is basically a kind of like an old people's home, really, I suppose, where you go to live out your last few years. Leper hospitals are possibly a positive example because they were quarantining people with leprosy. But again, I put the main one in brackets. So the church and the monasteries, i.e. the Catholic Church, were mostly responsible for patient care. And the focus of patient care was the soul, not the body. So all ideas within hospitals are based on superstition and just basic care, prayer, that sort of thing. If we move on to the early modern, things become a little bit more scientific, which is basically what the early modern period is. Now we start off with, I'll put them in the wrong order probably, we should be starting off with dissolution of the monasteries. When the monasteries shut down, and Henry VIII shuts the monasteries down, initially there's a massive drop off in patient care because there are no institutions doing any patient care. However, that means that into that void step funding by either wealthy people or by the royal family. And that's where we see the growth of endowed hospitals like St Thomas, St Bartholomew's, St Guy's. Basically put a saint on the front of it. It's probably any of those hospitals that were around in the early modern period. So that is a major one there. And obviously, whilst hospitals were now moving away from church, they were become more scientific, which meant they indulged in basic surgery and things like midwifery, removing bladder stones, etc., etc. Okay, right, as we step into the modern era, obviously patient care becomes much more patient and medicine focused. Initially, there's a massive drop-off because of the Industrial Revolution. There's not enough endowed hospitals to fit the demands of huge population within the country. So the turning point really is in the 1840s and 50s with Nightingale, who sets up at Scutari Hospital and then rolls her ideas back to the UK, where we see things brought in like Pavilion Principle, nursing becoming an actual profession. So she impacts not just on the actual hospitals, but also on the standard of nursing. We can also mention Mary Seacole being a big factor in that as well. The next one, which everyone forgets about, but is actually really important, is the liberal reforms. That's the basic idea of taxation being raised to then spend on patient care, effectively. Now, liberal reforms doesn't come in the form of hospitals, it comes in the form of the old, the sick, the unemployed, children, free school meals, etc., etc. So don't forget about liberal reforms and the National Insurance Act of 1911. Last but not least, the NHS came as an idea under Bevan, who you can see on the bottom middle there. And the idea is it's patient care for all, so GPs, hospitals, ambulances, dentists. It's all going to be rolled under one umbrella. It's called the NHS, which has obviously evolved into the NHS that we know today.